So, I thought I'd go and have this rant about how crap being absent-minded is and how I should change my ways and get my arse into gear and tell you about what I've been doing on my New Year's resolutions. But I found myself just staring at the screen for 5 minutes wondering what I was going to say, so I decided to press the record button and just go for it. And it's really like the talent I've got these days for setting my alarm clock, putting it on my desk, which is directly underneath my bed, and then in the morning going all the way down my stairs and pressing the snooze button and going back up to bed. I do this maybe 3 times before realising I've only got half an hour to scrape the stubble off my face, drink some smoothie and maybe shower before staggering out the door because of this 9 AM lecture stuff. But other than that, my New Year's resolutions have been going alright. I've seen an old mate. Hey! He did take the mick out of the tresemme in my shower, though. But we had a good night on Saturday. We had a load of curry and went for some beers with some other friends of mine. It was all good. I got my guitar fixed after deciding I was going to play the guitar a lot more. I decided to restring my acoustic. And halfway through, I noticed the bridge was practically coming off the guitar and the whole front of the guitar was bulging up this way. So I panicked and quickly undid the strings on it and sent it to the shop, where it cost me £100 to get the bridge re-glued and everything. But now it's back and they've tuned it up, fixed the intonation and everything, and it now plays better than ever. So I'm very happy about that. And maybe I'll play some songs at some point. Work-wise, my resolution was to get my arse into gear, and I've been trying, but it's just at that point, well, in workload terms, I suppose it's that moment where you flush a toilet, and there's that split second when you then realise, oh, this is clogged, and bad things are about to happen, and overflowing is going to occur. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. At the moment, I'm not being that productive. I'm waiting for a lot of chemicals to come through, and to get enough space to do my work. Working on numerous documents which don't actually accomplish anything. On the plus side, I'm soon going to be making some molecules. And while I'm not a synthetic organic chemist, I do quite like making molecules when I need to, especially when it involves a nice reaction. And in this case, hopefully, I'm going to get to do Grignard cross-coupling, which is a wonderful thing I've never done before, but it involves magnesium and palladium and lots of cool stuff. It's a very, very nice reaction. I'm looking forward to it. And I spent a long time talking to this guy at work about different ways of getting a Grignard to react if it's not reacting. And many of them I just do not want to do, and they involve mercury and carbon tetrachloride and things that I don't really want to use. But yeah, this is all great. What I'd really like to do is go and talk about my work a little bit more, but unfortunately, because we have a lot of competitors, especially near us. At my last university, there's a guy that does similar work to us, and if he found out what we were doing, then we'd have a lot of competition, so I can't really tell people that much until eventually it gets published, if it gets published. So I'm looking forward to that point where I can go to this science slam thing that they have on, which is like a 3-minute power presentation and people like sing and do interpretive dance. I think I'd play the ukulele. It might be funny. But yeah, that's what I really want to do. I want to get better at communicating science and getting people really inspired about it. And right now I try. I'm good at doing the animated part and sounding really enthusiastic, but my brain trips over the fine details, and I think I just need a bit of practice to get everything sorted in my brain, and so it flows fluidly, like you see these old professors who know their stuff inside out, and I'm kind of envious. So I decided to do some demonstrating, and I'm not really sure I should be doing it, because this time last year I was an undergrad, and this time 2 years ago I was in undergrad labs being demonstrated to. So this is quite new, but I tried it last week, and even though it was massively tiring, I had to run around correcting people's calculations and showing them how to use the balance properly. I really, really enjoyed it. But next session, they're doing the experiments properly, and I've been put in charge of 2, and I thought, right, well, I'm not going to expect any of these students to do anything that I'm not myself prepared to do. So I had to do a lot of basic physical chemistry calculations and draw graphs, something I've just not done in a long while. I'm not sure if I've drawn a graph since high school, because we just tend to do it, let the computer do it for us. So I drew graphs, and because I had to make them look pretty, because my professional um, acclaim was at stake, I used different coloured pens and proper rulers and everything, and did a nice best fit line. I still didn't get the right answer though. But that was more due to my experiment than anything else. So it means that I'm just going to have to be lenient about people's experimental results, because I can't expect them to get better results than me, even though I still probably haven't done a titration for 3 years anyway. So yeah. But yeah, that's good. But there's two other reasons I want to do that. One of them's beer money, which is obvious, and the other one is because a lot of students have had bad experiences with labs, and I've read some horrible things that people have said about being incredibly stressed and feeling like they know absolutely nothing, and I don't want that to happen, because I felt it, and a few other people in my class felt it. So I want people to feel like they're learning stuff, enjoy the labs, and not be too stressed, hopefully, and I'll be very happy if that happens. So, another one of my New Year's resolutions, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in my last video, was reading stuff. And I'm sure when you think of stuff you're going to read, you think of a massive list. This is going to increase my intellectual capacities unmeasurably. And I'm going to enjoy this long, thick science fiction book brilliantly. And of course, when you do read it, it makes you feel really smart, but it's just hard to get started into something that meaty. Well, I saw someone else's video about books they want to read, and they mentioned a few books that I read last year, and a couple of other books that I want to read. I finished reading the whole Game of Thrones series last year, and it inspired me to take up longsword fencing, and so I can feel super badass while doing that, even though perhaps not, because it's quite difficult and I'm not very good at it. But I feel like I've got to the point where I can start up this campaign that I've been thinking up called Longswords against the Imperial measurement system, and I'll brandish swords against anybody who uses ounces in the lab, or gallons, no matter what type of gallon it is, European or American gallons. I'll make them use things like meters and moles and grams and things. Yeah, one of my pet hates. Also with the longsword, I was thinking the other day that I should make a pillow out of a longsword in case I have a nightmare. Then I have a longsword. It's kind of the badass way to deal with it. But I think I've ranted enough, so I'll leave you guys, whoever is watching there, and have an awesome week.